building number 27,
Yeah.
that was Bob Linklater, Robert Alexandra Linklater.
Is that your dad?
Yeah.
Right.
And his wife was Catherine Linklater, or Katie.
Yeah.
Better known as Kath. And then my auntie lived next door to us, 25.
Yeah, so I've got 27 opposite Dean Street, is that right?
Yeah, dead right.
Right.
Because where the fork in the Dean Street and Adams Street was, between number 27 and 29, there was an alleyway.
Yeah.
And you went down that alleyway to the back of the houses.
Right.
Now, when you walked in our front door, you had a little, maybe 1 metre by 1 metre porch. So the second door opened up into the main living room.
Right.
Which was the only living room.
Yeah.
And then, if you imagine you went through the front door, then you walked straight through the living room. You got the other side of the living room. On your right was the stairs to go up. But in front of you, there was a small kitchenette. You stood in front of the gas oven and that was it. There's no room left. There was a sink, cold water, and then the backyard down to the toilets. The yard was, you imagine, an L shape.
Yeah.
And you'd go out of the kitchenette or the cook in the kitchen, and it was 5 feet wide, and it went down about 12 feet. Because Mum used to have the wringing machine and the pots tub and the iron bath on the wall. And right down the yard in front of you, there was the WC in the middle. And then on the right-hand side of the WC was an opening just like a storage area. But on the left-hand side was the coal house. I mean, we used to literally climb up onto the roof of the toilet and jump that gap onto the roof of the kitchen.
Right.
Which is below the back bedroom. The back bedroom, which 3 sons, me, Jim and Bob, slept in, was only big enough for a 3/4 bed. There was no space around it at all.
Right, that small.
It was that small. 3 sides of the bed, a 3/4 bed, were nigh on touching the walls, and there was just the front area you could climb in and out of, because Mum had to climb over it to make it.
And there was 3 of you in that room?
Yeah, in a 3/4 bed. And when we had my cousins come, we'd be top and tailed. The one window at the back, and obviously that was a single glazed window that went up and down.
Yeah.
And there was a cracked window, there's ice on it, never ever got changed.
I know that your grandparents, Alex and Rebecca, they lived at a few properties, but they were at 51, is that right?
That's correct.
And I've got them, from being married, they're at number 17, number 29, and then 51.
Well, you were telling me now, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've moved about a bit. Every 10 years it's somewhere different.
Yeah, because number 51 was a bigger house than the rest of them.
How come?
It was when you went in, there was a long passageway, then you go up the stairs, but on your left-hand side you had the front parlour.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember my grandma being laid out in the parlour in a coffin, and before I went to school, I went there to kiss her goodbye. And my Uncle Dick, Richard Linklater,
yeah,
he was the oldest son, was living there with my grandparents.
Right. I've got Uncle Dick living there after they died. Is that right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But he didn't live on his own. He lived with his sister. And his sister got married, and it became the Gillespies lived there. Mabel married the engineer for Forbes's Bakery.
All right.
He was a very gifted man, but he was about 15 years older, and it was like strange. The family didn't know how to take him. She fell in love with an older man.
Right.
And it was like, things in them days, stuff like that was far and few between. You would go to the top of Adam Street.
Yeah.
And it was a T-junction onto Denmark Street.
That's right, yeah.
Now, on the right-hand side of Adam Street was the Rifle Pub. I did go in for a few messages and what have you. I used to do some little running for odds and sods for the landlord. But I remember going inside it, what it was like, but never ever drank in there, no.
Because I've only ever been described what it's like on the outside. Apparently those green tiles on the outside.
Yeah, it was very much like the Masham.
Right.
And you go into on the corner of Adam Street and Denmark Street, that was the entrance into the main bar.
Right.
So, like, the front entrance was not on the exact corner. They cut that corner back. So the door was on the corner.
Yeah.
But you had a side door, which was round the edge of the bar. And on the right of that side door, when you went in, was the ladies' snug.
Yeah. Right.
And if you went in and you went straight up the stairs, because they lived up there as well, but that was also the function room.
Okay.
And that's where they would have the wedding reception. When they had a wedding reception there, we would be outside when the bride and groom would throw the money out the window onto us. Next to the Rifle, on the very top end of that side, it would have been Adam Street, that, because that was a bit of top of Adam Street, what turned at 30 degrees.
Right.
There was an old guy there. He used to rent out handcarts.
Okay.
And he'd have like 4 handcarts outside his door on the street.
To rent.
So if anybody was wanting to move, or you wanted to, carry a settee or something, or a piano down to somewhere else, you could hire his handcarts, and that was like furniture removing.
Is this next door to the Rifle in Adam Street?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I got number 6 and number 8, I think, that's it.
Now, number 8, that was the Andrews.
Right.
Tommy Andrews, Tucker, was a good friend of mine, and his backyard was on the bend of Adam Street. So they didn't have a back alley like us. It was on the side of the Adam Street and joined onto number 1 Dean Street.
That's right, yeah, it doesn't seem to be walled off, does it?
Was the old stables.
Right.
Now, that stables became the garage for a builder company called Bailey's.
Right.
Who was on Denmark Street. There was number 1 and 2 Dean Street. And next door, and obviously they used to park the tipper truck in that garage. And we used to always wait for the lad coming back, and we'd climb up and get a little ride into the garage. No more than like 20 feet.
Right.
But that's like one of the events on that section of the road.
So was this in Dean Street?
Yes, but there was 2 terraced houses. The first one was Mr. and Mrs. Wood. My mother, being what she was in them days, when Mrs. Wood died, she actually prepared her for the cemetery, washed her, and done what you normally do when someone dies.
It's what they used to lay them out, didn't they?
That's right, exactly. 31
Yeah.
on our side, and I used to go and get the cat meat for her.
Right.
The fish shop, the cold fish shop. And that was my little job. I'd get coppers for running messages.
She was like, I've got a photograph of her. She's a very big lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her son, I think, and he had a daughter, he went onto the tugs. And I think it was Raymond Churchill, that was his name.
And now the 1911 census for 19 Adam Street. But Ada Hayes, the head, married, and she's 38.
Do you know Ada Hayes, by the way?
Ada Hayes.
Yeah,
what number was that?
1 sec. She lived at number 19.
Yes, Mrs. Hayes. She lived on her own, and she used to loan money out. She was a money loaner, and she used to save my mum when we were desperate. She'd borrow money off her to get food for us, and she was a posh woman, but she lived on her own.
Yeah, she seems to. I think she's one of the longest members of the street, really.
Yes, that's the one. I remember her well. A dear old dear, and Mum always used to say on Remembrance Day, when it was getting round to Remembrance Day, a week before and after, she was in mourning. The curtains would be closed because she lost her husband in the war.
Do check out my other videos in the Adam Street playlist for more of Ada Hayes' story and to find out what was going on and what happened. The Mitchells at 55.
Yeah.
Do you remember
that
them?
Oh, the Mitchells. Yeah, because they must be next door to the Povies, were they?
I'll just double check once. I've got like an electoral register in front of me. 55. You got 55. Yeah. Evan. Yeah. Edith and Richard Povey at 57. Yeah.
And I remember them very well because they were a poor family, and it was. I mean poor. Mum used to pass our clothes down with her. At the bottom of Adam Street.
Yeah.
The last house next to the fish shop was the Harkers.
I have heard that name before, yeah. 1 sec, I'll just get me electoral. You're looking at Robert and Annie Harker.
Yeah, and they had about 6 kids.
Right, big family.
But they were hawkers. Down across the bottom of Adam Street, over Cannon Street,
yeah.
There's another street.
Is this Sydney Street?
Yeah. Now, halfway down there, on the left-hand side, there was stables for about a dozen horses. Now, the Harkers had the horse and carts down there.
Okay, so they used the stables on Sydney Street?
Yeah, and they used to rent out and do a lot of horse and cart work and fruiters and what have you.
Did you ever go into the Sydney Street stable yard where they used to have the horses for the fruit?
Yes.
Because it was only small. I've only seen one photograph of it, but it was quite small, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think, yeah, because the main yard was full of carts.
Right.
For the horses. And I think there was about 9 or 10 stables.
That was opposite number 31 Sydney Street, where the stables were on the other side of the road.
Sorry, I work for you, Kel.
Reference point. That door?
Yes, this will be in the doorway.
Don't get stabbed.
Oh.
Yeah, but they've
just...
just...
for the foundations?
Anything weird, yeah. Because the church is there, so... How wide is the road?
Because what we used to do with the Harkers, on a summer's day, we'd get 6 of the horses on the back of a cart, and we'd fill the cart with kids, and we'd go up to Teesside Park, and we'd let the horses graze. So
the horses just stayed in the stables?
Well, yeah, that's where they lived. Now, down the bottom of Dean Street, the very bottom on that far side we're talking about, was the very famous General Grocers and All Sorts. He was the typical grocer. You'd go down for some meat and he'd have a woodbine in his mouth, puffing away, while he's cutting his ham or his corned beef or what have you.
Is this on the corner of Cannon Street?
Yes, Cannon Street and Dean Street. And he used to put some of his fruit and veg on the front as well. Right opposite that,
Yeah.
there was a big commercial garage, which used to be a synagogue.
All right, yeah.
Because next door to the synagogue was Ernie Gillespie, the hairdresser, and he used to get me my hair cut because he had no electricity.
Yeah.
With hand clippers.
All right, yeah.
You've heard the saying about put a basin on your head.
Yeah.
Well, he used to do that. He had a selection of basins, and he'd put them on your head.
Yeah.
On your head side. He'd trim round all the way around your head, above your ears, so there was no air underneath the basin.
Yeah.
He'd take the basin off, and then he'd blend the air to a pattern and a little bit of air on the top. he was only a little bloke, and he had arthritis, and he had the hand clippers in his right hand, and yeah, sometimes you come back with an ear what had been snipped.
All right.
Now on the right hand side, before the railway line, there was a lemonade factory, Lowcock's.
Oh yes, I've heard of this. Yeah, near Denmark Street Bridge.
Yep. And what I used to do, and some of the other kids used to do, when the wagons were coming back, we'd sneak out, jump on the back, and maybe pinch a bottle of lemonade or an empty bottle. Because you could take a bottle back to a shop and get threepence for it.
Yeah, if you kept the bottle, yeah.
Now, from that lemonade factory, they used to have 3-ton trucks. They used to go around all the streets.
Selling
lemonade.
Right, yeah.
Down the bottom of Cannon Street, Denmark Street, there was Denmark Street School.
That's right, yeah.
But that got demolished.
And then the park was there, is that right?
Yeah, the play area was there.
Yeah.
Now, I used to walk through there to go to Marsh Road School.
Yes.
And right next to Marsh Road School was the stadium where they'd have boxing and wrestling on.
So was it actual wrestling and actual?
Yeah, I used to go.
Right. It's like I always wondered this.
Go.
Farrar Street Stadium, isn't it?
That's right, because one of the local wrestlers was Oakley.
Right.
Now, Oakley became the mascot of Cameron's beer from Hartlepool because he showed his big muscles on the advert. You drink Cameron's beer and you get muscles like this.
Right. So what was the wrestling like? Was it just go for it and tackle and?
They were all right while they played the game with one another, because obviously wrestling is like acting in a skillful way. But if you got a little bit shaky with the other bloke and you became aggressive, then it would start to become aggressive.
Right.
That forehand smash wouldn't be on your chest. It'd be the elbow in your nose and be blood all over the bloody place.
Right, so it could get a bit serious.
Oh, very. I mean, Ron Oakley, Mr. Muscleman, he was wrestling, and I remember this vividly. He was wrestling Massambola, and they were playing about, and Ron Oakley gave Massa a forehand smash in the face. Massa didn't like this.
Right.
And Massa had a head of cast iron, and he butted Oakley in the face, knocked him unconscious, splitting his nose wide open. The fun had stopped because Oakley became a little bit too bloody self-confident with all these artificial muscles.
Sounds very violent. And that's it for Kevin's video on his memories of Cannon Street. I hope you enjoyed the video, and check the playlist out for Adam Street and the other playlists for more content on some of the things that Kevin mentioned. So until next time, bye bye.